Hi everybody and welcome to a brand new working week here on TNT. Plenty to talk about, but we'll do a couple of videos today. But the first one is going to be about weather. Not specifically about Thailand, although it may affect Thailand by the middle of the week. A very big weather system moving through the north of Philippines at the moment, heading to China. Let's check it out. We start with the Bangkok Post. And it says evacuations in Philippines, Taiwan as Super Typhoon nears. Interesting photo, and we'll get to the bottom of what that photo is about a little bit later. And the Philippines and Taiwan have ordered evacuations yesterday ahead of possible flooding and landslides as the Super Typhoon Ragasa approached, gaining strength on its way to an eventual collision with southern China. It says the storm's undergoing rapid intensification and expected to make landfall on the sparsely populated Batanes or Babuyan Islands by Tuesday afternoon. Well, it's actually happening as we speak. And the scary part, maximum sustained winds 185 kilometres an hour at the storm centre, gusts reaching up to 230 kilometres an hour. Let's try and figure out what that means. Wind speed classifications, this is from the Gemini AI. And it goes tropical depression, tropical storm and typhoon, hurricane, severe tropical cyclone, winds of 119 kilometres or more. Well, recorded wind speeds already way over that. And there's a Saffir-Simpson scale for hurricanes, Category 1 being the weakest, 119 to 153 kilometres an hour. Category 5 being the strongest, that's winds over 250 kilometres an hour. At the moment, the wind speed's sitting somewhere between those two. And to clarify, typhoons are also classified using similar wind speed ranges. And a bit more clarification, typhoons, hurricanes and cyclones are the same type of weather phenomenon. The difference is purely geographical. A bit further down there, a typhoon is in the northwest Pacific. In the United States, when they come out of the Atlantic or through the Gulf of Mexico, they'd be called hurricanes. In Australia, we call them cyclones. Up in this part of the world, they're called typhoons. Same. And quoting the Philippines Interior Department Secretary, they must waste no time in moving families out of danger zones. And in Taiwan, authorities said that nearly 300 people will be evacuated from the Hualien country in the east. And a Philippines weather specialist said that severe flooding and landslides were expected in northern areas of the main island of Luzon. So this recorded around 10 a.m. on Monday morning. Let's see exactly what's happening. We go to Ventusky. And there, just on the very, very top of the Philippines, on the top of Luzon Island, we've got Ragasa heading through the South China Sea between Philippines and Taiwan, heading northwest through the South China Sea. This is looking at the actual rain and the precipitation, not only very high winds, but an awful lot of rain being generated. That's exactly where it is at 10 a.m. Monday morning. And we can see Thailand in the middle of the Ventusky graphic. I've drawn an arrow there, the direction that Ragasa is tracking. Next 48 hours travelling through the South China Sea. Looks like it's going to be making landfall just south of Hong Kong. That whole Pearl Delta area, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, looks like it's going to be very heavily impacted by this storm. You can see it there, building in strength as it tracks across the South China Sea, building a lot of rain, and it's going to drop that rain probably once it gets to China. And the way it's probably going to be affecting Thailand, Cambodia and Vietnam over the next 2 or 3 days is this storm is going to be sucking in a lot of air through the South China Sea. But if we go to the position tomorrow, it's still in the middle of the South China Sea between Philippines and Hong Kong. And then if we go to Wednesday at 10 a.m, the projection that's when it's going to make landfall along the South China coast near Hong Kong, but still with a hell of a lot of intensity. And back to the Bangkok Post, strong winds and heavy rain are likely in other areas of Luzon, though Manila, that's the capital, where thousands turned out on Sunday to protest against fraudulent flood control projects, was expected to be spared. More about those protests. The growing corruption scandal involving billions of dollars lost to incomplete or ghost flood control projects has seen multiple lawmakers implicated and sparked national outrage. And for the protesters, the typhoon probably proving their point, showing the results of some of the flood mitigation. Talk a bit more about the Philippines and typhoons. The Philippines is the first major landmass facing the Pacific cyclone belt, and the archipelago is hit by an average of 20 storms and typhoons each year, putting millions of people in disaster-prone areas in a state of constant poverty. And we note that the typhoon season in the northwest Pacific generally runs throughout the year, but most active between July and October, with peak activity in the Philippines and Japan often in September and October. And here we are. So if you go to news about the Philippines today, are they talking about the protests or are they talking about this massive typhoon? Well, it's the protests. CNN, police clash with anti-corruption protesters in the Philippines. The BBC, Philippines anti-corruption protests turned violent. Australia's ABC, thousands protest corruption in Philippines. Al Jazeera, clashes, arrests, as tens of thousands protest corruption in Philippines. And The Guardian, protesters flood streets of Philippines over state corruption. So weather-wise, at least this time, Philippines seems to have dodged the worst of the damage, but that storm, this huge storm, is heading towards Hong Kong. And Bloomberg reports Hong Kong may close airport as Super Typhoon heads towards city. And Hong Kong's considering shutting its international airport on Tuesday ahead of the Super Typhoon Ragasa, which is currently churning off the northeast coast of the Philippines. The airport's weighing grounding all passenger flights for 36 hours from as early as 6 p.m. local time tomorrow. So if you are travelling throughout the region, if you've got flights in or out of Hong Kong over the next couple of days, I'd be checking with your carrier. And the Bloomberg story goes on. The storm, known in the Philippines as Nando, has top sustained winds of 215 kilometres an hour and is off the populous northern island of Luzon, according to the local weather bureau. So this is the biggest storm, the biggest typhoon we've had going through the region in 2025. It looks like it's dodged most of the Philippines. It looks like if the storm continues to build through the South China Sea, that Hong Kong's going to be the recipient of most of the rain and potentially most of the damage. We'll keep you informed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.